Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 1705 North Galloway Street here in McMinnville. Located up on the rooftop, we just put the camera to the bottom of the vent. We've zeroed out here. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Currently have water running. Off we go. We're going to keep the camera moving pretty quickly here to get through the twists and turns of the crawl space. We weren't able to find an obvious clean out anywhere, so that's why we're going through the vent. Alright, we got a transition here over to 3034 PVC pipe. Looks like right there is just a cobweb hanging from that joint there. We'll take a look at that on the way out when it's drained. It looks like my camera is pushing some rust scale around. It's a common thing with cast iron pipe. Cast iron is a good pipe product, but it does cause rust to develop on the inside of it and can break free sometimes. So we'll make sure we don't have a whole bunch of that to deal with as well. And that right there is another bunch of cobwebs, not a root intrusion. Alright, looks like we have as far as I can tell, it looks like a secondary clean out coming in right here. It's possible we may have to move to that, depending on how long this line is. Alrighty, here about 97 feet, we're pulled back about a foot from the main lateral connection. Here at 97 feet, we've reached the main. We're going to go do locates to verify where the line terminates at and get an idea of where it's routed. And then we'll drain the line out completely. We'll make sure the water's not hiding anything from us. The 3034 green PVC pipe here looks like it's doing its job and is in good shape. We'll check it all out. The cast iron pipe at this point is really my only concern, making sure there's not too much debris in there or bellies or anything like that. Alright, located the camera head successfully. Almost straight out from the front door, actually. I think it takes kind of a roundabout way. I'm going to try and do some locates here, at least follow the path of the pipe as we come back in. Had this line gone straight out, it would likely only be about 50 to 60 feet long. So it's taking kind of a roundabout way. We are all drained out at this point here. We're going to bring the camera home. Again, real thick cobweb there. That is not roots. I'm going to do another set of locates here once we get back to this transition so I fully understand the route this line takes here. Alright, and this right here is a good example of the cast iron debris I was talking about, or the scale that breaks loose from it. And sometimes this happens simply because someone's cut into the cast iron to do this repair or update here, and it causes enough vibration to knock it loose. It's kind of hard to say if that's what caused it. Sometimes this stuff can naturally on its own slough off as well. Now I'm going to go locate, see where this is at. Looks like we have another clean out right here up near the house. Alright, this is actually right out in front of the front door here. So we've quite the route through the crawl space here. It's a lot of pipe to go through in the crawl. But anyway, this is just in front of the little concrete planter box on the front yard side, not the front door side. But just in front of that, there is a clean out buried in the ground there. I haven't dug it up. There's so much overgrowth. My ladder is set up there. It's not really easy for me to get to it, but it is right out front. And it lines up directly with the concrete patch in the sidewalk. And that's where they had to tear some concrete up there to do the repair. For a reference, anyway. So anyway, we do have the scale build up here in the line. That little bit of scale right there actually causes you more flow problems than you would think. It's quite heavy and it's really jagged, and catches toilet paper very, very easily, especially along with other things that go down the line. Got a bunch more of it right here. The cast iron pipe, though, just looking at it, looks like it's in good shape. Sometimes you'll get cast iron that's at the end of its lifespan, and you'll just get scale after scale that will break loose. I'm really not seeing a whole lot of it. Normally it's quite obvious. If you look at the top of the pipe, though, right here in this particular area, I'm seeing some little tiny gaps and things in kind of the color there. It looks like some of the scale is broken loose from the top of the pipe there. You can see kind of that jagged edge of that stuff going up the pipe wall. So that right there is probably where some of it broke loose. There is a spot right here. Unfortunately, the scale makes it almost impossible to tell the difference because it gets so thick and it will start cracking and breaking loose. Right at the top of the pipe here, I guess on the right side of the screen, in the way you are probably looking at it, you can see there's kind of a black hole-looking item there. Unfortunately, with all the scale that's in the line, and you can see how it's broken loose up here where the pipe is black instead of a rust color, more than likely that's just where some scale has broken loose. There is always the possibility it could be something else, but given the amount of scale I'm seeing here, especially where it's sloughed off, it appears to just be scale and not a hole in the top of the pipe. But that's about the best view you can get. If you do some drain cleaning, which I do recommend doing, recommend jetting this sucker out good. This is very, very thick back here. This scale buildup right here is over an inch thick. I highly recommend getting the line jetted. I would show the video to the drain cleaning guys so they can figure out which implement is going to be best for this circumstance, but there's a lot of scale in here that should be cleaned out. That stuff will cause a clog quite easily. Aside from that, though, the line drains out beautifully. There's no standing water anywhere in the pipe. Got good slope and grade. All the pipe, as far as I can tell, the scale does conceal a little bit from us, but for the most part, it looks like we just have scale buildup on the interior of the cast iron pipe. And all the PVC pipe that we scoped was in great shape and has good flow. So I recommend jetting the entire line out. I would start at as far back in the line as you can go, either from the vent here or possibly a clean out in the crawl space or going through a toilet, so that you can jet every inch of the main line as you can. Recommend it be cleaned out. I recommend rescoping it. Make sure that all of it has indeed been removed. Now, if you get the jet guys out here and you start jetting it and you do that for a while, if you keep getting scale breaking loose, or it's just not going to stop, and I have seen that before, at that point you may need to look into doing like a pipeliner or something on it to update the cast iron. But as far as I can tell, I think it'll get cleaned up fairly nicely. So aside from the scale buildup, the pipe itself's in good shape as far as I can tell and has good flow and will function properly once it's cleaned.